Right. Well, we've got three already. Three joined us. Thanks, guys, for joining. I'm going to see if I can see your comments in a minute. They are welcome to the Saturday morning podcast. Yeah, as long as you can hear me, that's the main thing. We got Dan Cooley. Good morning, Dan Cooley, all the way. Dan, I know you're from down in Southampton. Lawn in order there. Thanks for joining this this Saturday morning live stream. We're going to start doing this on a regular basis now because of basically popular demand. Gareth Jones. Good morning, Gareth. How are you? Do you know, this week has been absolutely horrendous with the weather, etc. Let me just see if I can just turn the camera out. Let's just see if you can see the landscape and survival sign in the background. And for those who don't know, we run, along with a number of landscapers across the UK, we run a community on Facebook called Landscaping Survival with Johnyboy, and it's about the daily grind and about what you're doing. Loud and clear, pal, says Dan Cooley. That's absolutely fine. We're getting a couple of likes now. 9-10 live viewers, absolutely fantastic. The reason for doing these podcasts, well, you know, again, is that I've always felt over the years that basically landscapers and contractors don't talk to each other. They don't communicate. They're all worried about what each other one is doing, and you know, and basically they just don't communicate. They don't want to share things, and certainly the knowledge that we learn in our trade is we're only leasing it, aren't we? It's not our knowledge. It's we've learned off somebody else or something in some way. Alan Blackshaw. Morning, bud. Looking great, son. Do you know, I'd say something now. Is it or is it not about positivity? And Alan there, as usual, right? He knows I'm not perfect. He knows that I make mistakes, but without a doubt, he is always positive. He is a great human being. Isn't it about success is about being a great human being? And all of us should be a great human being. I said to her, I told her, see, she didn't listen, the sign's backwards. Do you know what I'm actually going to do? I'm going to do this on the live stream now, and you're going to bear with me. When we're filming sometimes is that things appear back to front. So this is funny. This is real, isn't it? This is what happens. So what I'm going to do, while you're there, I'm going to turn the sign around so you can actually see it. Alan's watching. Look, Alan, let's see if we can just do this now without me panicking, getting stressed out like we all do on a day-to-day basis. We were desperate to get this right this morning for you, our viewers. This is quite funny, isn't it, really? But you can see it happening. You can see, I don't know if you can hear me. I'm going to get back to you in a second. Let me just get this undone here. Let's get the sign round. There we go. Here we are. And what we'll do, we'll just put two in. This is quite funny. I know what you're actually thinking of this, Dan Cooley. You're probably laughing your socks off there, down in Southampton, wrapped up in the warm in your bedroom because you've got the flu, or a cold, or whatever you've got. Hopefully it's just that. Let's put that round now. You can see it now. Let's just wind that in there and wind my neck in just for a minute. There we are. There you go. You can actually see it. 16 live viewers. Let me just see who's actually joined us now again. There we are. Alison says, so funny. Alan Backshaw. Alan, I just got to say thank you for all the positivity that you just resonate through the channel. It's brilliant. Can you see it now? Is it the right way around? I want to know what you actually think of that sign, Landscaping Survival. And, you know, with Johnyboy, it's not about me, it's about all of you. Perfect, says Alison. The right way round. We got it right. Do we make mistakes in life from day to day? Of course we do. But it's about putting those mistakes to right, isn't it? It's as simple as that. But there you are, the sign's up there. We're looking good. Joe, I still don't feel comfortable at the moment. Stay with me, sir. I'm still going to put these in because it just doesn't look right. Let me just put these in now. We don't want to lose those because she will, without doubt, play up. Well, look, this is There we go. This is...
It's David.
There. There we go. She's got to stop this. She's coming in and correcting me. If it's there in the background, let's just put it down. Let's just put it down. There we are. Can't see it now. I'll be behind it. This is funny, isn't it? Yeah, mistakes. Was that done on purpose? No, it wasn't. Mistakes happen on a regular basis, and certainly contractors across the country make mistakes. And it's what they do about those mistakes and the communication they do to keep going. Haggis Roll has just joined us. Haggis, good morning from all the way from Ireland. Good to see you, bud. How is the Emerald Isle? Is it raining over there today? And I really, really appreciate when these people start joining us on the live stream from all over the world in some cases, and it will happen. I think we had Matt Sloan all the way from Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky the other week. Look, we've invested a couple of quid into doing these podcasts to make sure that the audio is almost perfect. Nothing's perfect in life, but we've got 18 live viewers. That's absolutely fine. I'm sure at some point somebody's going to call. Agus says it's absolutely miserable. I love this. I love when I'm getting feedback, with questions and comments and dialogue. Paige Hanna, morning from the Midlands, great landscaper, taught me so much. Hey, bud, I don't know if you're talking about me, but I'm just like all of you. I learn off you. I learn off the channel. That's why I started the channel, to promote good, healthy dialogue and stay away, all you keyboard warriors, if you want to be negative. Last week, on my current project, which I call my Everest, I made a mistake. I forgot about the capillary groove, the drip underneath the steps, and in doubt I became a bit of a drip simply because I forgot the drip, and I did it again on the wall. I haven't done it, but I will be putting it in, and I will show you the evidence at some time in the near future. It's great having you guys on here, and I'm going to keep saying that because it really means a lot to me. If you want to share these videos anytime, feel free. Any ideas on good waterproofs, JB? Do you know, Alan, waterproofs, no worries, Peg. Pav, sorry, bud. Waterproofs, how good are they? I remember years ago, Alan, probably going back, Lee Cooper, morning, John, done your hair today, looking the content, loving the content, helping. Yeah, I have done my hair because she told me to do my hair. We're in the studio. It's nice to look clean and fresh for you guys and feeling the part, and I do those videos out there in the rain, the wet, and the mud, and it's an absolute pain. But what was I saying? I lost my train of thought. Do you have a preferred brand of power tool? Sealers on Indian sandstone. Well, I'll tell you what Alan was saying about wet clothes. I don't have a preferred supply of what I think for tools. I just think, when it comes to power tools, it's all about the user and how you look after those tools. Sealers and sandstones. I will be talking to a chemist very soon. He phoned me this week. We're going to be talking about sealers. And I'm going to get back to Alan in a moment. But when it comes to sealers, well, actually, this goes hand in hand, Alan. I was talking to a chemist a little while ago, and I'm not going to go into detail about who he is and what he does. But even Special Forces wanted their clothing to be waterproof. I'm not going to go into that too much. I don't think it's prudent to talk about that. Hope as well, John Andy Groundworks. Good to see you, bud. You can also Johnyboy on the live stream. Oh, she's on there now already. Yeah, when it comes to clothing and sealers, it goes hand in hand. What do we do? What do we wear? I remember buying a Berghaus jacket, probably one of the most expensive jackets on the marketplace, but they just get absolutely soaking wet, and normally they fill up on the sleeves. I think the only thing that what I do, Alan, is I always keep some dry clothes in the van, so when you're working, our skin gets wet, we get in the bath, and when we're working, we're generating heat, and I don't think that matters. It's when we stop is the problem, and it's the effect on your health. When the water goes cold on your back and you start feeling the cold and it gets into you, it's not good at all. So when it comes to clothing, I think I've used, there is a German brand called, it'll get back to me, maybe somebody can come up, there's a German brand, Isn't it annoying when you just forget, isn't it? It really is frustrating. There is a German brand out there that has some clothing, but it's expensive and it will keep you dry and it's breathable. And that's the thing about those sealers. What I was saying about the sealers is that when you're sealing sandstone, it's said that a water-based breathable sealer is the best to use. But the fact is, in my opinion, okay, that it's not, because what happens with breathable sealers and water-based breathable sealers, they eventually break down and they go back into the water source, and that will contaminate, without doubt, the water source eventually at some point. But if you use a solvent breathable sealer, people always think that because it's oil-based, that's no good for the environment. But the fact is, if you're using sealers on paving, you want to use a solvent one because it fixes and it stays. It doesn't go anywhere at all. And as long as it's a breathable sealer and an impregnating sealer, I will, without doubt, very soon be doing some testing with a chemist. Okay, not somebody that actually sells sealers, because they are almost like second-hand car salesmen. I'm going to be talking to a chemist, and we're going to be doing some live streams and posts about that. Make your own sealers, just a thought. I'm sure all the subscribers, Pav, we are in the process of probably producing a sealer where we have some clarity about what we're using. Is it or is it not, when you go into a merchant, that they don't necessarily know about the products they're actually selling over the desk? And they should do. They should be having some training with all the products they actually sell, but they actually don't. When you go into some of the B&Q stores, the superstores, not all those people are going to know about it. And when you read the back, the instructions, there's so much on there. So I'm going to be doing a live stream with a chemist very, very soon, and we'll maybe get one out there. DeWalt, does anybody try any color coordinate? The tools, mine's black and yellow. Well, Lee, do you know, it's interesting that you're actually talking about tool. Helly Hansen, there we are. Ellie Hansen. No, there's another one, Daniel. There is another one. He uses Ellie Hansen in one way or very good. Sorry, I should be wearing my glasses. I got them over there. DeWalt does the body try in color and coordinate the tools. Mine's black and yellow. Alan Backshaw says old age is a killer. It is, Alan. We got to look after ourselves. I remember years ago working up on site in Essex, we had a drying room, and in that drying room, I always had a heap of clothes, and they were always on the radiator. They were always dry. So when we were doing those deep foundation, those digs, and those pulls and those pours of concrete, I always made sure that I had clothing down there so I could go back down at any point and change it and just stay dry a little bit longer. Agis Rolls says, I'm interested in the makeup of the pad you made with the lean mix on top. What would it be made up of? Well, I'll be honest with you. I've hijacked this word. PQC, paving quality concrete, is a civil engineering vernacular to describe a concrete base, and it was generally used on RAF stations and roadways many, many years ago. But for years, when we used to put a driveway in or on site or road building, we would always put a lean mix in. So I look at a PQC as basically it's a lean mix, but PQC meaning a paving quality concrete, so that you're going to pave on top of it, and it basically creates a rigid system. The trouble is, I wasn't picking my nose there. The trouble is when you're using a lot of type 1 MOT, which is absolutely fine. You can get the MOT in initially, get that geotextile layer in, because that will be a stabilizer between the substrate being the dig, and the subbase. That's going to make sure that it's solid, it's not going to move. Get your MOT on top, and then what I do is I blind it over with a lean mix and then compact it. And what you'll find is it will stabilize the ground, because usually sometimes in MOT you don't have enough fines binding aggregate in the stone to keep the sub base together. It's so annoying, it really is. And by doing this, it will blind it off, because what you find across the country, you have a thing called soil expansion, and this is where the ground will absorb all the water and it will move. And basically, by putting a lean mix in, it's just going to keep things together and then stabilize the ground. And the other thing, of course, is that if you put a lean mix in, it's going to ensure that your laying mortar is going to bed better to the lean mix. I'm interested in the makeup of the pad. Aggies, I hope that answered some of your questions. If you want me to elaborate on that at any time, feel free to contact me. The email is info@greentoplandscapes.co.uk, or you can give me a ring. I'll let you know what my number is. The idea, again, is about these Saturday morning live streams is bringing landscapers together, and also we have to say the consumer. They tune into these live streams. We've got a call coming in right now. Let's have a look now. Let's accept that. Let's get the speaker. Good morning. Let me just speaker. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. We got Patrick Dywer. Patrick is from Sheffield. We're just we've got a little bit of a technical difficulty at the moment, Pat. Just bear with me 2 seconds, and we're gonna just turn the volume up. There you are. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, here we are. I've got you. We're just trying to get the volume turned up now, and this is what happens with these live feeds. Right. Can you hear me now? Right, okay. We'll probably get you in on the Bluetooth at the moment with the speaker at the moment. Let me just see if I can get you next to the mic now. Patrick, thanks for joining us on this live feed.
No problem.
Look, Pat, tell us a little bit about where you are and what you do.
My name's Patrick Dywer. I'm the managing director of a company called Chameleon Landscaping Limited in Sheffield. We cover the whole of the Yorkshire area and beyond, obviously depending on what size projects we do.
Been in this industry now for over 20 years, and as you can appreciate, there's been a lot of changes in a lot of the things what we do as an industry. We specialise in all outdoor spaces, full design, and garden rooms, and so on. So yeah, it's all good. Yeah,
Patrick, I've been watching. You're part of the Landscape and Survival group, and obviously I watch things on there. But I watch on your own Facebook account, and I got to say is that it's amazing what you're producing. Do you think what you're producing, with the videos, do you think that is really important to get those images over to the consumers so they can see something decent?
I think in our industry, Johnny, it's a very visual industry anyway to start off with, and obviously from a customer's and a client's perspective, if they can actually see real time work and get to know us as contractors and get a feel for us as contractors, I do think it makes it a lot easier transition for them when they decide they want to go with us.
So when you share those videos, because video content is without doubt, it's a must in this world of social media at the moment. And do you feel that when they see those videos straight away, it tells them a lot about you as a business, because you can deliver a message, can't you, through a video?
Yeah, definitely. I think it gives the client as well a perspective and an insight to how a company is run as well, rather than me going out and seeing a client and telling them what we do. They can actually see it on a day-to-day basis and actually see us actually doing a project throughout it, and looking at the stages of the project, and they can see just by all the videos and how a project is run, how tidy sites are. As an example, we're on a big project at the moment out of Mexborough in Yorkshire, and a client commented on how tidy we were on our videos and how tidy our sites were, and that's what appealed to him. Because obviously when you're on residential and gardens and you're working for clients, there's always got to be that professionalism and that second to none service, which obviously we aspire to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that you run a tight ship, and you know, when you're doing these videos, just going back to that for a moment, Patrick, is that the fact is that, you know, you could talk to somebody till you're blue in the face. I've been doing this a long time like you have, and you don't necessarily can get the idea over to them. But with a video, you're able to show them a concept, aren't you? And they can see it, they can take it in, can't they?
Yeah, well, they get the benefit of actually going around and looking at people's gardens and having access to people's projects, which normally they wouldn't have access to. Obviously, with social media and multimedia as it is, it's an absolutely massive tool for us, as for me especially, as a landscaper. And more people, obviously, during COVID and everything else, have turned to social media, and you know, they get a lot of inspiration from social media. They can relate to certain people on social media, and it gives you a really good perspective on how everything works and how gardens are laid out.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say, Patrick, that the information that you're getting out on video is not just the images, but you're telling the client, the potential client, how relevant that you are to them, aren't you? Yeah,
and you know, it's in a society now where everything's branded. Our industry is seen an absolutely exponential growth as an industry, and I think what's happened during the lockdown and everything else, people have realised that, you know, maybe they don't want to go away, maybe they want to get the gardens and the houses landscape, and you know, the DIY and you know, and gardens have seen a massive explosion, and people have realised that there's a lot more to the outdoor space than what they actually realise, and the potential. And the biggest thing is the potential. What they can do with outdoor spaces now is absolutely gone through the roof.
Yeah, you know, that was the thing that you touch upon then, is that there's also, everybody seems to be sort of doing things at home because they can't go on holiday. There's people are on furlough. They are getting their money come in. They've had this second furlough scheme that was going on as well. But how do you feel about some of there's like a really insurgence of contractors or so-called contractors that are doing our job, but you don't worry about that, do you?
Not so much really, John. It's just a case of, obviously, from my position, from where we were situated before COVID, we were still a very quite a high demand company to get in work. And the last 6 years before COVID, we've seen a really good substantial growth year on year. So I think, regardless of whether COVID had still been here, we'd have still been busy regardless, because obviously through the social media and all the branding and the level of service we give to our clients is second to none anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, if you was going to give, like I said, it's a crazy marketplace out there at the moment, isn't it? You know, and you know that is. What advice would you give to a consumer that is looking for a contractor? What would be the first thing that you would tell him, Patrick?
I would obviously do your homework. I would look at contractors' work. I would ask for contacts where they can view the work. So obviously during lockdown, obviously we can't view the work. I would also ask for their public liability or any accreditations what they've got. You know, it's not a case of just, you know, as contractors, as telling clients what they think they want to hear. The clients need to know that they're in good hands, and they've got a good contractor what's working on the property. Now, for me, it works both ways. As a contractor, we're building a relationship up with clients. I've got to make sure that I'm happy to work with the client just as well. The client is just as well happy to work with me as a contractor. So it is a two-way street, and it is not a one-way. It is not a one-way street. But as from a client's point of view, they just need to get referrals. They need to look at the documentation. It's like, as an example, we have an environmental policy. As a company, we have a child protection policy as a company, because when we do work on schools, we have a child protection policy. We've got Chaz registration, we've got Marshall's registration. We're obviously associated with Johnyboy and the Survivors Group, which is an absolutely massive forum and a community of good quality landscapers. So, you know, as a client, just do your homework, ask the awkward questions, because if you don't ask the awkward questions, you know, you're not going to get the answers you want.
Absolutely. Look, you know, I don't want to keep you too long, but just a couple of things here. You got, there's a couple of questions. So the first thing I'm going to say is we need a checklist, don't we? So clients can actually think about what they're doing. That's what we need to come up with. We need a check. You and I and the landscaping community need to come up with a checklist. You got Gareth Jones on. Gareth Jones on here says, "What are your thoughts on composite fencing?" I know you do a lot of decking. And Lee Handy has said you're an absolutely inspiration. Lee Handy on the live stream now. So checklist and composite fencing. What's your views?
Well, obviously from the view of composite decking, there's as Chameleon Landscaping, we do an absolute ton of composite decking. There's 1,000,001 manufacturers out there which manufacture composite decking, and as we know, you've got Trex, you've got Millboard, you've got umpteen and one different sorts of composites. Now, I've been doing composite decking now for about 10 years, and we started doing composite decking when it first came out, and the changes are happening year on year. The quality is getting better and better. As an average from a client, I would say if you're looking at buying a deck board, you need to be looking at around the £40 mark per length of decking.
Right, okay.
And I would imagine at that sort of price range, you're going to get a good product. Now, there's a lot cheaper products out there, and I would say to clients, try and keep away from them, because as we know, a lot of the composite is manufactured in China and comes over from China. And then you've also got stuff what's manufactured over here in the UK, which is obviously tends to be a lot better quality.
Yeah. Patrick, you something you just said then was that about it's improved over the years, and you've given an idea of price, which is absolutely fantastic when you're buying this deck in this composite system. Where have the improvements have been made in composite, Patrick?
It's from, as an example, we did a composite deck about a year and a half ago on a project, and we were on a big project. And what tends to happen when suppliers get composite decking in, they get different batches in. So what can actually happen is you can get sometimes a slight colour difference on certain composite decks, where there's different batches. So if there's been a batch made of, say, 10,000, and then they make another batch, if that batch has not been made up correctly, there might be a slight colour variation. Now, what happened with this decking manufacturer when we did this big project? They actually put a UV covering on the decking, so it made the decking actually slightly darker. Right. So we had to end up taking up all the old decking up and putting all the new decking down. But this is exactly where I'm going back to, that the decking and the composite products are improving all the time. Yeah. You know,
when you had that problem,
there's a lot. Sorry, go
on. When you had that problem, I'm just interested. I find this enthralling, to be honest. When you had that problem, how did the client feel when you dealt with that problem, and you dealt with it in the right manner? And I think I remember this story. You telling me about this before, but how did they feel after? You know, obviously they felt reassured. But tell me about that moment when you must remember that moment when they knew that they were in the right hands, weren't they?
Yeah, it's just about taking control of the situation and just being transparent with clients. You know, there's things sometimes beyond our control, especially, as you know, Johnny, at the moment, getting materials and things like that. I think as long as there's clear communication with clients, and clients are kept in the loop, and there's no grey areas for myself, especially, and my business, 99.9% of the time, the clients are very happy, and they're pleased that we're just obviously keeping the communication up.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, Patrick, we're giving this information out here. We're giving it free. We're not getting paid to say it in any shape or form. The actual video is being sponsored in a way from ITS because they want to give the Johnyboy promo code and give a free bundle away, a prize away. But if you were going to mention a decent product, whether it's for a DIYer, a landscaper, or somebody just asking about it, just let's go for that list again. Can you tell us what would you probably choose?
As in supplies?
Yeah. You know, where would you get your composite from?
Oof, that's well. There's lots of composite companies now. We're to be honest with you, Johnny, we're getting approached by different composite companies, and as you know, there's all different sorts of hardwoods, softwoods, Choban, but there's umpteen and one different companies with decking. Now you can go all the way up to millboard, but millboards is absolutely astronomical price, and for most people it's out of their reach. But there is plenty of good quality composite deckings around the £40 mark, which are more than substantial for residential gardens. And then there's obviously aero timber, aero boards. We do those.
And that's different, isn't it? It's a different board, isn't it?
Yeah.
Different look.
Yeah, it's great product, great for cladding. We just did a job where we actually won a competition from aero timber.
Tell us about that competition, Patrick. What did you win, and what was the competition?
Basically, the competition, we did an aero deck installation, which is actually on our Facebook page, and we did lighting, LED lighting, and we made it on like 3 split levels and all different right angles and everything else. And we did something different rather than just a basic rectangular deck. But as you know, Johnny, decking seems to be our forte at the moment.
Patrick, I'll tell you now, mate, you know, when it comes to the lighting, I love the lighting you have in a garden. And I'll just tell you a little story in a moment. And I remember doing a job for a gentleman we got Nicky Mack joining us now and Stephen McGowan. And he says, hello, guys. Just to let you know, I remember talking to a guy many years ago, and he was ex-Special Forces. I'm not going to go into it in too much detail. But when he was doing his selection, he said that he had to get to the next RV. And he said, I'll be honest with you, John. He said, I was a little bit lost. And he said, I seen this SAS trooper in the distance smoking a cigarette because he was on the RV and it was in the Brecon Beacons, and he said he got drawn to the light. And you know, how important is having light in the garden, because it's very atmospheric, isn't it? It's very ambient.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
what we put a massive features in now with our lighting, and you're giving the client a different garden at night, so it turns into a completely different garden than what it looks like during the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's so important to get the lighting right, and we've seen a massive increase in people commenting about the lighting, what we put in our gardens, and it's very, very subtle lighting what we put in. But it does create that sort of excitement at night, and it creates a different environment, and it creates that entertaining space, and it just gives it another different worldly feel. It's awesome.
Patrick, I'll tell you now, I know that Alison's listening at the moment. I remember years ago in our last house, I did a deck there. It was absolutely beautiful, planting pockets in there. I had the lovely balustrade, and then I made a mistake. I allowed the electrician to put the lighting in. Oh my God. I thought that the planes were coming in from Cardiff Airport to land on there. It needs
less is more, Johnny. Less is more.
Yeah. Look, just going to say, just quickly, I know you've got to go because you're busy. Gareth Jones says, does the Aero board hold up over time, or does it lose the finish? You know a little bit about the creams, the Rubio Monaco.
Well, the creams and everything, it is actually a touch up. So with the Aero board, it is a product which probably needs a bit more maintenance than a normal composite deck. But as a finish, the Aero board, you're getting something really different. To be honest with you, I've done that much composite decking over the years. I'm actually getting a bit bored of doing composite decking now. I'm liking the look of the hardwoods, and everything else, and looking at different ways of how we can keep ahead of the game.
Oh, there's some beautiful hardwoods, aren't there?
Yeah, I do feel that hardwoods are going to supersede composite eventually. I think it is very big composite at the moment. It is still quite a big in the marketplace, but I do feel that clients are going to start looking down more to the hardwood side.
Do you really think it's going to be a trend and it's going to head in that direction?
Yeah, I really do, Johnny. That's obviously my opinion. But the way I feel at the moment with design and the way I feel the clients are going, they're wanting a more natural environment and more earthly, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is about the environment and protecting the environment and being in keeping. Just go. There's Ryan Boots, an ex-client of mine. He says always look for composite product that has a UV stabilize in the compound.
Yeah.
So that's what
I was talking about earlier when there's a slight different coloration. Now, obviously, composite, when you first put it down, it is quite dark, so you do get quite a bit. It does lighten up a bit after it has been out in the environment and obviously in the sunshine.
But everything needs to be maintained, doesn't it, Patrick? We all have to clean our cars. If it's a BMW or a Mercedes, as good as they are, they need cleaning and maintaining, don't they?
Yeah, that's it. It's like everything else. There's no such thing as a maintenance-free garden.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Listen, I apologise if I interjected there, but the thing is, you can't see the screen coming in and the questions that people are posing. Look, if you were doing my garden, and you were choosing a decking for my garden, what sort of decking would I have? What would you like to choose for me?
I would put a composite down for you, John, because you're way too busy to be looking after anything else.
Really? So there we are.
Actually, I would probably. I don't know. I like the showman. I know you're a big showman and the arrow. But I'd like to put a hardwood, like a tiger wood or something down.
Yeah, but that's an interesting observation because straight away it just conveys an air of confidence. There is what you're saying. Is you're looking at customers and you want to know their lifestyles to absolutely try and make their choices, aren't you?
Yeah, and the thing is, as a contractor and a designer, and we've got to try and guide our client in the right direction. It's no good giving a client a garden if they lead very, very busy lifestyles and they're very hectic and they've got 2 kids and a dog and everything else. You've got to make the garden and the design of the garden work to the family, because long after you've gone, they've got to live with that garden and they've got to keep it.
Yeah, I remember years ago, Patrick, when I studied design at Purcell, and I remember one of the questions is that when you go along and speak to your clients is who is using the garden? Who is using the garden and how they're going to use it, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, and you've got to think about the end user. And, you've got to not get any sort of ideas of grandeur from yourself. We can all go out and spend other people's money, but you wouldn't be doing the clients any justice if you didn't think about them as the end user.
No.
And making sure that it obviously fits their lifestyle.
Yeah, do you know, Patrick, what this conversation we've had this morning, I could do it time and time again with you because it's all relevant. We've never got enough time to do things, and I'd love you to join the live stream again here on YouTube, because I think that people are going to learn so much from you without a doubt, because you're just going to tell us things that we're not even thinking about. Look, a bit of advice: if anybody was going into this landscaping business, supplying a service, what would be the best advice you would give them?
For the question again, Joe, I didn't quite.
Yeah, if there was a young person or somebody that decided to go into the landscaping industry, and we see it, we have such an influx. I'm going back to this now because I'm just, at the moment, I just see so many people doing it, and then I see these consumers, potential customers, go into them, and I don't think that they're getting the best deal. But if there was a contractor out there that was going to start, what advice would you give them?
I would say, as a contractor first starting out, I would be honest and transparent. I think as a contractor starting out, get yourself educated. and make sure that you're surrounding yourself with positive people who are going to have a positive impact on your business. Also, make sure that any products, what you are using, or any installations or anything else like that, you're getting the right information, how to do it, and do it right, and do it once.
Yeah, Nikki Mack says, if there was courses out there in this industry, what courses would you recommend? I know you've got to go soon, but I just desperate to get these questions over to you. If you was doing a course,
I think there needs to be a business course as well, because a lot of people, no disrespect to our industry, but a lot of guys in our industry, they're absolutely fantastic at doing gardens and laying paving and doing that.
Technical side,
we do need to know how to run a business. So you need to know all the aspects of the business, not just about putting a good deck down.
Yeah, do you know, Patrick, I agree with you 100%, but I think the thing you probably don't realise at the moment, the information you're giving out here on this podcast on a Saturday morning with me now, I think it's just absolutely crucial. Look, thanks for joining. What I want to say is, what have you got planned for the rest of the day? What are you on now? What have you been doing? And will you join again? And just once again, tell us about who you are and where you are.
Thank you, John. Well, I've got another 2 clients to see this morning. I've been up since 7 o'clock. I've then got to go home, do a bit of work in my own garden, because obviously it's not maintenance free.
No.
And then getting ready Sunday, having a bit of downtime tomorrow, read papers, have a coffee, and then get ready for a very busy week next week.
Fantastic. Look, if somebody was looking for you, let's just plug your website and your telephone number, etc., because people will be watching this and they know that I've brought you to this live stream because you have massive value. So if anybody's looking, no, you know it, and you know it, brother. We're in this together. We come from the same hilt, So I'm not a Yorkshireman. But at the end of the day, we share the same blood in some respect.
We'll adopt you. We'll adopt you, John.
Cheers, bud. So just give us the web address and where they can find you, social media platforms, and where you're at and where you're relevant.
Yeah, we're on Facebook as Chameleon Landscaping Limited. We're also on Instagram at Chameleon Landscaping. You'll see all our branding. All our branding's all purple, and you'll obviously see when you go on our Facebook page, there's movies and everything else. There's tons and tons of projects on there, and if anybody wants to reach out to me and wants any advice, please feel free to drop me an email.
Well, thank you for that. I'm going to leave you on one note before we go. When we were out walking this morning, and I'm enjoying that morning walk with my wife with the dogs, she says to me, Patrick does nice videos, doesn't he? Listen, Patrick.
She's my number one fan, Johnny.
I think she is. Listen, you're an absolute gentleman. Thank you for joining. Really, really appreciate it. You have a safe day. Everyone's just liking what's gone on here on this live stream. So thanks for joining, and I hope that we can do it again. And be safe, brother.
Okay, thank you for inviting me, and thank you to all the listeners for joining in today. Really appreciate it, and have a great week.
They're all saying thank you very much. Cheers, bud. You take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, there you are. There you have it. We're bringing somebody of note and very interesting. I just didn't want that to end. I just wanted it to go on. Thank you, Nigel. Thank you, Nikki, Lee as well, Gareth Jones, all of you on there, and Alison. Thank you very much for your advice, Patrick. It was warmly received, and we really appreciate your time, especially in a busy day when you're out pricing. And I think earlier on he actually went out to see a client, and social distance and that they had to do it in the garden, and it was raining, and there's nothing worse when you're out as a contractor and you want it to be comfortable. Dan Cooley says great chat. Yeah, absolutely. Glad you listened to it all the way through, Dan. No problem at all. Yeah, but there's nothing worse when you're in a garden and you want to talk to a client and you want to just doodle around on some A4 and just explain your ideas, your shapes, the sizes that you're recommending, and the products, and you want to go for your phone and show things. You've got to maintain distance. It starts to rain. It's really uncomfortable, and it's a real challenge to actually do that. Look, what I was going to say is we're going to continue with this. What a great boy. Good to hear you, mate. No problem. That's John Ward. What a great lad. Yeah, absolutely, Alan Backshaw. Really, really appreciate it. Sorry?
10 minutes.
Why have I got 10 minutes left? This is great. I love this. She did me on the sign. And what have we got 10 minutes left?
10:30 to 11:30.
Oh yeah, 10:30 to 11:30. She's just reminded me of what we're doing. Yeah, look, really appreciate John Ward. Thank you very much. Good to hear you, mate. Good to hear you, bud. Thanks for joining on this live stream. Lee Handy, when we meeting up on a walk with the dogs, mate. Lee, there's no problem at all, mate. I don't even know where you are, Lee. Alan Backshaw's. I love to see Alan on here. I love to see all of you. What a great lad. Great chat. Yeah, absolutely, Alan. Is how he produces those videos on Facebook or however he does it. It's just unbelievable, and it's very catchy. And you know, I think if you're producing media, whether you're good at producing media or if you're not, I think you need to sort of start looking at yourselves as a contractor and as a consumer. When you start looking at how people produce their media, it says a lot, not just about the work, it's the message that's getting out there. So sometimes we have to sit back, sit up, stop and have a look at ourselves as people and as contractors and what we're doing and what we're trying, what our goal is, okay, what our aim is and what we want to get out there and what we're trying to do. But we have to reassess sometimes about what we're doing and how we're going to go out there. Look, I really appreciate, and I've said this so many times, Nikki Mack says, love this, and I love it as well. You know, sharing the stuff on the group, on the Landscape and Survival group, which is a closed group. It is for contractors. I have got one of my clients who's become a little bit of a friend of mine as well. He is on there and he looks at things and he's got lots to offer in the future, which will all be revealed very, very soon. Our travel mate, Lee, no problem at all. It's great having people that want to participate in these live streams. Look, we got a few minutes left because it's 10:30 to 11:30. If you've got any questions that you want to ask me, now is the opportunity. Now is the time, because when it's all over, it's all done. My project this week, working with that Brazilian slate, it's been an absolute nightmare just this last week. Saturdays are great now, waiting for Justin's van blog as well. Both of you're a class. People want to see what goes on in the van, don't they? Want to see the tools, want to see what we actually use. Do you know, Alan, I looked at one of my memories on Facebook this morning, and a post come up actually about what you need to do and what tools you need. But to be honest, what would be the first tool that you would pick out the toolbox and for you as a contractor? I know what tool I would go for, and I would go for a shovel, because you can make a big impact with a shovel in a short period of time. That's going to generate a lot of confidence with your consumer, your customer, your client base. But you turn up with a shovel and you can make a mess, or in some cases you can make a difference, okay, and they can't believe how much work that you've done. But you've got to value yourself, what you do when you turn up. And you know, there's something special about people that actually go out and work in the rain as we do, and trying to achieve the things we do, and putting up with the inclement weather conditions, the ground conditions, and just the general environment. It's tough. It really is tough. And so I take my hat off to people that do it. But I always wonder why that we go into this business. Do we go into landscaping because we like the outdoors? Do we go into landscaping because we like the isolation and we only like a minimal amount of contact with other human beings? But we all like to be social animals as well. But that's something that's always sort of wanted me to sort of just find out what makes people do what they do and why they do these jobs as a landscaper. You know, it's not easy, is it? It's not easy. You know, we have to put up with so much. You know, when we're traveling on the road, traveling to site, you got the VOSA, the ministry, the police around. You've got to make sure that your trailer is in good condition and you're not overweight. There are so many considerations. We've renewed our public liability insurance, and this is something that I want to touch upon again in the future, probably do a whole podcast on it. Maybe we can get somebody from a an insurance company out there, somebody that can talk about policy and the importance of having public liability insurance. Just going to check the messages there now. I'm going to read what people say every Saturday morning, Lee, 10:30, 11:30. Got to say, John, don't know how you cram so much in. I'm in an office now doing work. It's so good to see you putting in the effort in. I'll tell you what, John, but I'll be honest with you, mate, and for us, for us as a family-run business, what we wanted to do was to get our information out there, and what Patrick touched upon earlier was product knowledge and education of product, education of who you are and what we can do. We can do it through video. But I really appreciate your comment. Yeah, it does take its toll sometimes. The work is hard enough, but this week I haven't struggled so much with the energy levels, just the fact that the rain just stopped things, and it was just a pain. So really great pointers there in that discussion, says Martin Evans. Martin, I was hoping to speak to you. I'd love to get you on that live stream. Ground sheets, mate, first to ground sheets. Yeah, I get that. You know, people challenged me the other day about why I did the wall and the patio and in what combination that I did it. But the fact is, I think that what people don't realize is that we needed to get the wall up and the patio down, because it was just difficult because we couldn't get the product over the top. We couldn't build the wall and then start bringing all our sub-base and paving over the top. And once I got that paving and there was a window of opportunity to lay the paving, I laid it. The fact is that the slate paving is really robust. It doesn't stain. It doesn't mark. We keep it clean. And I did it in that order because it suited me. You know, I've been doing it for a while, and I do know what I'm doing. Martin Evans says, especially how important videos can be point of sale to convey the message. 100%. Totally agree with you, Martin Evans. Martin, if you feel that you want to join this live stream sometime in the future, just give us a shout. I'd love to get you on here and have you on as a guest. And I really appreciate your support on the group. John Ward says, we've changed the way we work in our business in the bigness cause of your videos, mate. We used to use the cement over water, but it's on with the roller. So now buy the right stuff, pal. Yeah, absolutely. John, thank you very much for that. It's good to have your feedback. I hope that these videos and my posting on social media, I hope it helps people, because if it helps just a little bit, you know, it's positive, isn't it? We're all heading in the right direction. Gareth Jones says, John, how much work would you say you pick up because of your YouTube videos as opposed to the word of mouth recommendations? Do you know, Gareth, I think it's just a bit of both. But the reason we did the videos in the first place, because I just feel that customers, they learn a lot more about you by getting those videos out, and that's why we did it. It was never about doing product reviews or certainly about egos. I wanted to show the people the nuts and bolts of what we do on a day-to-day basis, and I think that you could produce an absolutely blinding video on a project and a garden makeover when it's finished, because that's what customers want to see. They want to see the finished results. They're not interested in all that other stuff. But the idea about me doing the videos at the start was to get it going and let people know it. If you don't make a noise, you won't make a sale. I can guarantee you, I'll talk about this on a regular basis. If Monet, the artist, and Van Gogh and all Rembrandt and all those, if they had video at that time, I can tell you now, they'd be doing cartwheels now, because video is absolutely a fantastic way of getting things out there. And no matter how much I talk about this now on this live stream now, I talk to people, I try to advise people, but they just don't seem to listen. It'll only be about 2% that will jump on board and start creating some video content. Get it out there, get it done. I'm going to stay with that for a moment. So that's the reason I started doing the videos, just because I wanted to get in the door and people could see me and they could see the honesty. They could see the reality, the organic growth of me as a business. And I know that if they never chose me then, they probably chose me at a later date. Lee Andy says, people laugh how many different shovels and shapes I have. Right tool for the job. Yeah, absolutely, Lee. John Wood says, yeah, rain, mate, is mood over for us, sucks the life and happy atmosphere out of the job. Thank Evans for the waterproof radio, pal. Yeah, the radio. I like to get onto that and what people actually listen to on the station. John, I don't know if you've got one, but we have got a promotional code going on with Rock Awnings. If you need an awning at any time, and you've got one of those jobs where you feel that you can put an awning up and it's going to benefit you on that job because not everybody uses them, let us know. Rock Awnings, they're up north and they've given a Johnyboy promotional code. Lee Handy says we would be lost without John Roberts. And will I be lost without you, Lee? You're so nice. Thanks very much. I really appreciate it. Mark Griffin says, great to watch the live feed. I've enjoyed watching your videos about start my own patio project. Mark, if you need some advice or some help, just give us a shout. Gareth Jones says, I personally think the finished product is important, but it's great to see the process. John Ward says, family run business that cares, mate. Great to see your work and you will be successful with your attitude and work ethics. We try our works to be the same. We've got some technical issues coming in now. We've got about shut down. She's telling me about time now because we've got to finish it 11:30. Martin Evans says, would love to, mate. Would be an honour. No, it'd be great to have you on here, Martin, because there's a massive emerging marketplace now with some of the younger lads coming into this industry, and it will continue to come in. And I'm amazed. I'm just amazed at some of the work these guys are producing, because I wasn't producing the work that some of these guys at the same age. I wasn't producing that sort of work. It was different than those days. John Ward says, put one day, mate, gazebo blew down the road on top of a Jag. Oh my God, on top of a Jag, absolutely brilliant. Sorry to hear about that, John. I put one up the first day, went to the Malvern's RHS show, come back on the Monday, so proud of the awning, put it up, and before we know it, the guys were knowing it, and it blew over and it ripped. Carry on, Johnyboy, you're bloody good landscaper, great content. No, listen, Barry, but I can't see what it is, my eyesight. Thanks very much for that, but I really appreciate it. Why does water tension on porcelain happen? Well, the reason that porcelain apparently, as they say, has 0.02% porosity value, so it doesn't absorb the water, so it will sit there. But what you'll find is that it will also dry. So there's pros and cons to it. You know, with sandstone, it's going to soak down and your patio is going to go green very, very quick. Spades, not shapes. I do apologise. Gareth Jones, no problem at all. I'm here for anyone. If you've got anything that you say, if you want to join the live stream at any time in the future, just let me know, because I'd love to get you on here. And if you need just to have a chat, just drop me a message at info@greentoplandscapes.co.uk. You can go to the website, which is www.greentoplandscapes.co.uk. If you are a landscaper and you want to join a fantastic community, there is Landscaping Survival with Johnyboy, the daily grind. It's on Facebook. Get out there and have a look. And just to let you know, guys, that this live stream was sponsored by ITS, the tool people. Check out Ben and Richie doing his tool review. They're the guys that can get your delivery within 7 days. And don't forget, mine, if you place your order before 7 that night, they'll get it to you the next day as well. I hope I've said that right, so I'm going to be in trouble. But a big thank you to ITS. Don't forget, mine, if you're ordering anything over £50, you get a free gift if you type in the Johnyboy promotional code. Well, I hope I've said that right, and I've got the timing right, because we're at 58 minutes and 36 seconds, and we're going to shut down at dead on 11:30. Alan, thank you very much. Keep all your positive comments going. Alan, I'd love to see what you're doing at the moment and what it's like up there in Scotland at the moment. Lee Andy says, feel like a 15-year-old, keep stopping on the barrow and getting my phone. Are you working? Are you, Lee? Are you working? Hey, guys, look, thanks for joining. Really, really appreciate it. And again, big thank you to ITS for supporting this live stream on a Saturday morning. We will be going live next Saturday. So don't forget, mind, if you want to come on the live stream, don't let me come to you. You come to us, and let us know if you want to join the live stream, because we'll get you on here. We'll have a great chat. Big thank you to Patrick Dywer, Chameleon Landscapes up there in Sheffield in Yorkshire. Really, really appreciate it if he has a look at this later on. Ben Cooper says, thanks again for your help. Put my mind at rest. No problem at all. Listen, one thing before I go. Remember, if you can't say anything at all in life, anything nice at all, just don't say it. It's as simple as that. And on that note, be safe. Take care. Thank you. Top notch. All the best. Be lucky, guys. Have a great weekend.